Welcome to Breakfast Without Tiffany. And today I came out with a new slogan in Hebrew, but I'll try to translate it to English. It says, focus more on the higher world, rather than the lower worlds. In Hebrew, the lower world is actually criminality, crime. So, that means that you need to focus more on higher things. Now, unfortunately, we have a lower side to us that makes us go down to anger, competition. In yoga, we talk about different energies. So we have this sattvic, it's the higher energy, pulls us up. Then we have, and we talk about certain foods that do that, certain interactions. And then we have the rajasic energy, that's the competition, that makes us compete and be loud and aggressive. And then there's tamasic, which is like the death kind of energy in Freudian terms. And so between those three energies we're working, and all of us make up our world, and that's also our food. Tamasic food would be like, the dead bodies people choose to eat, and all kinds of food that doesn't bring us higher. There's certain foods that will take us to higher places because it gives us good energy, because it wasn't acquired because of violence through killing an animal. So it all goes together, this higher energy. And that's what I like about yoga, because while Judaism, Christianity, and Islam also probably talk about going to higher energy, the yoga has evolved a science, I would say, a spiritual science. It seems to contradict, but it doesn't. Which is how to live a life with higher spirituality. The problem is, when you go to a yoga center like Shivananda, you have all this great energy and people want to go places. But of course, there's no energy that is 100% clean. In this world, everything is mixed. So what do you do with the garbage you encounter, with the trash, with the things that pull you down? Well, it's a learning experience how to manage all these, how to balance it. So practice yoga, eat right, exercise, and work on your interactions with other human beings. For me, I realize that I get very quickly, I observe children, and they're my best teachers. The way they're swept into copying others' behaviors and getting into not the best places. So, having said that, I definitely want to be in a better place. And I don't want to be pulled down by people. And I love song lyrics. There's a song that says, the words are actually these words. They say, so don't you get me down today. I'm beautiful, no matter what you say. It's really strong lyrics. I'm beautiful, no matter what you say. There are people who cannot see the beautiful side in us. And then there are people who cannot see the ugly side in us. And in between that, there are people that see mixed. And people always work according to their experiences. And if they haven't encountered, it's like encountering an animal that you've never seen before. And you're like, people are trying to always put you in boxes. Unless they've been on a spiritual journey in which they realize that people are not in boxes and human beings are much more fluid than they realize. I'm not talking about gender fluid, I'm talking about just your whole sense of being. There are people that behave as if they're very rigid, they have very rigid limits and rules, you can never talk to them, they're very non-communicative, they have these goals, and they're very rigid in their opinions. And then there are people that are very fluid, and in between that you have all kinds of combinations. Realize that is really interesting. The whole way that the social interactions affects us is, for me, fascinating. and also very painful. You could be the most amazing human being, and yet, if you live in a society or a family or community, let's start family, it doesn't encourage you, I don't see any point in going into all these terms of narcissistic father or mother or whatever, or brother or sister. It's about the family unit, not encouraging you to be an amazing person and appreciate the gifts you have. And I think that's the kind of family I grew up in. There was so much lie and hypocrisy, especially from my elder sister, saying to me all kinds of compliments and not meaning it. Beware of people that will give you a lot of compliments and not mean it. And one day, I encountered a rabbi and he said, what is more important, what you say or what you do? And then I realized the answer was, you have to see if what you say and what you do go together or not. Or the person who's telling you wonderful things, look at their deeds and see if it goes together or not. So I realized I had relationships in the past where they would say amazing things, but the deeds didn't reflect that. Like he would say, oh, I love you so much, I can't live without you. The next day, he had his future wife. And I'm not bitter, I'm actually feeling happy. I actually had an apology. I said, you did me a favor, because when a person lies to you, you can only evolve into better relationships. There's nothing worse than a person who's deceptive. It's also bad for them. They're not injuring you, they're just people that are unhealthy. It's like foods. There are people that are healthier and there are people that are less healthy. The healthy people are the people that look at your gifts and see beauty. But for that, they need to also see their own beauty. This is one thing I learned from the books by scholars. Sorry, the name escapes me at the moment. It will come to me. The Four Agreements, right? The writer, the Four Agreements, who I've actually met and hugged. And don't take anything in life personally. I always tend to think that the neighbor is angry at you because you are a shitty person, or somebody at work is bothering you because you're not. I don't know, I'm the kind of person who always thinks there's something wrong with me if somebody doesn't like me. But the truth is, it's not personal. Everybody has their wounds, and that's what this book says. And people walk around with wounds, and you never know. And people project their wounds. So you never know what triggers in a person a reaction, but it's not about you, it's about them. How people treat you, it's about them and their choices also. And you don't have to get along, but if you're in a work environment, try to avoid these kind of interactions. I'm telling myself. Keep your borders, your guard up. Don't let people invade your personal space, physically, mentally, spiritually. Don't let people tell you you are unworthy or you're not good enough. And you know, there's these doubters. There are people that grew up with a lot of doubt. They grew up in harsh environment, like a jungle, and they didn't get any, it's like a plant who never got watered. And they come to you and they see you and they don't have any love because they never got love. And they project this thing into you. They see somebody who has different views than them and it threatens them. And then they act in a defensive way by harming you, trying to harm you. So always have your guard up. Don't trust people too easily, is what I say to myself. I'm a very open, free person, and it's because I think I grew up with a very paranoid mother who thought everybody is there to harm her. And when you grow up like that, you don't have a balanced view of the world because you know that she's damaging you when she's suspicious of everyone. So instead of being suspicious of everyone, I was trusting of everyone. Got badly hurt, but you know what? At my age, I can say I've made my conclusions. There are people that are now, right now, at this point, in relationships where they're getting damaged and they don't leave because they are in this cycle and they think this is what they deserve. They think that being treated unkindly is what they deserve. Being judged and criticized is love, and it's not. If you're in a relationship with, whether it's a sibling or